Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Back to another episode of Real Life Solutions. You know what? We're dealing with some stuff. We always talking about real issues, how to solve problems, how things happen in life. Life happens. Real life solutions. That's what we talk about. You know what? I want to talk to y'all about people who, while working in the prison, people who wake up to just harass inmates and just try to make their life a living hell. It wasn't enough that the court system sentenced them to prison, but they feel that they have to give their little extra on society, help society out by punishing them even more behind the wall. And you got, just like on the street, you got good cop, bad cops. Inside the penitentiary, you got good correction officers, you got bad correction officers, and you got terrible staff. So, and you do have a lot of good people that work in the correctional facility that really try to do a great job. And I want to tell y'all a situation that happened to me. I was working at this medium custody facility back in the day, and I was the only supervisor that was at that facility. Let me go back. I was the second supervisor to ever work at that facility. That facility had been there about 40 years, and I was the second black supervisor ever worked there in corrections. And that says a lot as to where the place I worked. It was the Good Old Boy Network, the Ku Klux Klan Network, however you want to put it. And I had got promoted, got my stripes, got my sergeant stripes. And when you at the medium or a minimum security, after the superintendent leaves or the warden leaves, you're like the superintendent and warden. You're in charge. And so at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when the superintendent leaves, I'm the superintendent. I thank God that I got a promotion. I thought that, it was more money for me, more, a better class of living for me and my family. And I worked hard. I went to school, got my criminal justice degree, and just doing the things that it takes to advance in a job, in a career. And I got there. This sergeant on second shift, I was working second shift that day, getting oriented. I wanted to, introduce myself. And he had roll call. And he had all his officers out there. He assigned them all their posts. Didn't even acknowledge me. Matter of fact, didn't even say, we have a new supervisor on duty. Introduce yourselves. Nothing. He acted like I was invisible. Acted like I didn't even exist. So I said to myself, okay, this is how we gonna play these games, okay? And so after the roll call, I told him, I said, I am working on second shift now. I am the new supervisor here at the facility. And he was like, okay, I would have liked to have introduced myself to the staff, to the officers, since I am going to be their supervisor. But don't worry about it. I'll walk around to each post, and I'll introduce myself. Don't worry about it. So I already saw how this was going to go and how he was acting. The more and more I worked there, inmates started whispering in my ear saying, hey, I know you. My brother was over at this facility. He told me about you. He said you're a good man, that you fair. And one thing about working in the prison system, if you're going to be a jerk to everybody. Don't just be a jerk to certain people. If you do something for one, do for all. One thing I learned, I'm firm. I was real firm, but I was fair. I was reasonable. And that makes a big difference. A man can respect that. If you're reasonable, he can respect that. Is that I was told that there was a group called the Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen, which it was 5 altogether, but they called themselves the Four Horsemen. And they thought that it was their job to come to prison, to work, and harass inmates and make their life a living hell. And so they figured, well, I'm the new guy. I'm that guy. I'm the new sergeant. We're going to make his life a living hell. We're just going to mess with inmates, and we're going to get write-ups, and we're going to cause problems. And I shut all that down. The write-ups didn't go anywhere. Inmates being provoked. It will get somebody killed. It will cause a riot. It will cause innocent inmates to get killed or get hurt because some stupid officer or correctional staff decided to do something stupid. Now, this is what they would do during holiday season, Christmas time, Thanksgiving, when they could bring, family mail-in packages, or some of the inmates would get books sent in to them to read, and we would always have to go through the mail, check it for contraband, but not these guys. If you got a magazine, they look at your magazine, they take the magazine, try to ball it up, wrinkle it up, stick it back in the envelope and give it to you. So when you get it, it was a brand new magazine when it was sent to the mail, but when the inmate get it, it's all wrinkled up. And when care packages would come in, let's say you had a bag of Doritos, in prison, Doritos and Ruffles, potato chips or Scoops, man, that was like a commodity. That was like going to the steakhouse, getting a steak and a baked potato. There are some things in prison that are a commodity if you get them inside. So they had like a bag of Doritos. What they would do is take the bag of Doritos, crunch them up, and the Doritos are all crunched up, and they're just tiny little crumbs. So now you got a real pissed off inmate saying, hey, why did somebody smash up my potato chips? That's unreasonable. That's just really piss poor. Why did you do that? And then I have to deal with it. As a supervisor on duty, I have to deal with it for the actions of these idiots. And they would take, like if your grandmother or mother mailed you a sweet potato pie, or just a pie, period, apple pie, anything, they would take their hand, smash your pie, smash it up, just senseless stuff. If there was a cake, like you can buy the box cakes, smash it down. I don't know how it got like that. When you question them, I don't know how it got like that. Their people must have sent it. They must have sent it in like that. I don't know how it got in there like that. Just stupid stuff. I talked to the superintendent about it, and I said, this is what's going on. I mean, I can understand why your institution is so crazy, because you got a lot of officers out here that's doing silly stuff. They're really doing stupid stuff, and it really need to be dealt with. And these were officers who had a lot of time, and it was very difficult to fire them. It's like once you get on and pass your probation and whatnot, it seemed like it's almost impossible to fire somebody. They have to, not only do they do anything stupid, but you have to have real concrete evidence that they're doing it. And even after you had evidence, they still get a smack on the wrist. Nothing happens. They may get a warning, or they may get a written warning, and that's about it. So, just little things like that happen. And what happened was, after a while, I stopped all those write-ups. And then the sergeant who is the head of the four horsemen, he gonna pull me to the side and say, I don't understand why you're not processing these write-ups. My officers process these write-ups and they're not being done. I said, some of your write-ups are stupid. I said, some of the officers do not have good skills. They do not have reasoning skills, and they don't have the skills to interact and in conflict management. And that's why I dismissed a lot of them. So I dismissed a lot of them with an oral warning. And he was hot. Other African American supervisor who was there before me, and I knew him. I grew up with him, and he was telling me a lot of things. He said, "Don't go in there like a roaring lion. You go in there and you do what you got to do. You be firm, you be fair, and you don't take no crap off nobody." And that's what I did. I went in there. I was firm. I was fair. I treated everybody the same, based on the situation. Whatever was reasonable for the situation, I took care of it. I didn't back down. I didn't care. I mean, I was not the type of person who was scared to walk in a prison. I command respect and authority inside the prison. And I know that sounds crazy, but I knew that danger was all around me. But at the same time, I didn't have any fear. I didn't walk around like I was some badass, I was Stone Cold Steve Austin 316, I didn't walk around. I just commanded respect. And my thing is, a man will respect you. If you give him respect, he'll show you respect. And be a man that will do what you say. If you say, I'm going to do something for you, do it. If you can't do it, just say, no, I can't do that. Or I will look into it. I ain't promising you nothing, but I'll check on it for you. A man can appreciate that. Don't lie to him. And what happened is that I got evidence and I started writing some of these officers up, because I'm like, we in a medium custody gun camp. We had towers all around, there are towers all around. We in a gun camp. And all it takes is for something simple and something jumps off. Somebody might get shanked meaning stabbed. A staff member, that officer in that pod, that officer in that building may get hurt. He may not go home, or she may not go home that night because somebody doing something stupid. And I wrote guys up and I busted up this thing. In the end, people were transferred. I actually got transferred back to my old facility as a supervisor, as a sergeant. This little ring got busted up. They all went different facilities. They got busted up because they couldn't do what they wanted to do, so they wanted to leave and go other places. So I guess they would start their own Horsemen ring there. So I guess the four horsemen, I guess biblically, you got the apocalypse, you got the one that rides called the horse, that's death. So I don't know if it has something to do with biblical, or it has something to do with the Ku Klux Klan. For a lot of times they were horsemen. They rode horses, and a lot of them, I think several of them were part of the Klan, which I just didn't care. I didn't care. I didn't fear people, and I didn't fear men. And even though I knew a man was dangerous, I knew he was dangerous, and hell, I'm dangerous too. I just feel like if you wanna bring that butt whooping to me, well, you might as well pack a lunch, cause we gonna go. We gonna scrap, and we gonna get it on. That's just the kind of person I was, and that's the kind of person I still am. You want to bring the heat, I bring the heat to you. But these were the type of guys, and it took a lot of strength to go against officers. You know that that's something you don't do. Blue don't go against blue. You don't go against other officers and point bad officers out. And that's the problem with law enforcement. That's the problem with police, highway patrol, and any type of organization. We got good guys, and we always say, you know, why come the good officers don't say nothing? Why is this going on? Why don't they do something? They don't want to risk being the bad guy. I love being the bad guy. I love it. I'm just like Johnny Cash. I'm the man dressed in black. If I could wear a black suit every day, I would wear a black suit every day and a black shirt. I would be just like Johnny Cash. You know, I love being, every organization needs a guy like me that ain't scared to walk your butt out of here, ain't scared to fire you, ain't scared to tell you what the real deal is, ain't scared to tell you that you need to get your act together or you out of here. Just like I did with my children, you know, and I thank God for my kids. They're just beautiful, beautiful children, and they all grew up very well. They just good kids, and I was hard on them, but I wasn't so hard on them that they couldn't breathe. But I always steered them in the right direction, and they always tell me, you know, Dad, I remember what you said. I remember what you said. You know, you don't think I'm thinking, but I'm thinking. But that's good, you know. And these guys, the 4 horsemen, which they were 5 altogether. One turned on them because he found Jesus. So he found Jesus and he turned. And that's how the whole thing broke down, because God turned the heart of one of the horsemen, and he said, this ain't right. It just ain't right. We shouldn't be doing this. Ain't right. And a lot of people may feel different. A lot of people may say, you know, hey, they shouldn't have done what they did on the street. They wouldn't be in prison, so they get what they deserve. Yeah, you may get what you deserve, but when the judge, you just want to do your time and go home. I don't need no correctional officer, no correctional staff, or no manager or anybody harassing me because they think they can. And that's how a lot of them get killed, a lot of them get stabbed, a lot of them get their asses whooped, you know. And then they don't understand why this inmate put hands on me. Well, he probably got tired. Probably got tired of getting messed with. But, you know, it's just one of those things, man. This is just the life in the penitentiary, behind the wall, over the fence. When you ride by the prison, you'll think of some of the things Uncle T was talking about. Uncle T been doing this since 1988. Uncle T retired from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Like I said, I've worked in medium custody, minimum custody. I've worked in youth institutions, supermax facilities. I've done a little bit of everything, and I've seen everything. Nothing surprised me when somebody says this happened in prison, or this happened, or that happened. I'm not surprised. So, till we meet again, I love you with the love of the Lord. And till we meet again, guys, hey, subscribe, hit that like button. You know, I got years of experience. I could teach you something. I got some stories. And I got other things on my channel that I like to talk about. I do love the Lord, and I like to talk about things in everyday life to help you too. I'm not just going to talk about prison stuff, you know, and just everything about prison. But I will incorporate a lot of stuff about prison. But at the same time, I want to incorporate other things that people deal with. You know, people going through hard times, getting laid off, inflation. People need prayer. I have to do those things as well. But until we meet again, guys, y'all be safe. Subscribe to my channel. I love you. Take care.